I hope everyone is fine and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to give a little bit of a conversation about traveling. So many people, have started traveling now because, well, you know what happens. The Everything has opened up. Almost everything. Traveling is still a bit of a nightmare because in some places you still need the PCR test and or the vaccine certificate or all that. And yeah, I think it's time for people to start traveling. And well, traveling is great. I've always said that the biggest regrets I have is that I spent my 20s in Europe and I didn't really do that much traveling. I think even in Switzerland, I didn't really travel much. I haven't yet finished doing the tour of every single canton. I'm living in one of the countries that have the most to offer in terms of um, travel destinations, and I've never like really enjoyed it. And I come from a country that has very, very good travel tourism spots, and I've never like really explored Kenya either. So there's just something about me, laziness when it comes to traveling. Um, but I think for me, most of the time, my reasons for not traveling were simply because I felt that traveling was expensive. I felt that if I have to spend all this money on traveling, how will, buying the ticket, booking the hotel, doing all this, and there was just a lot that to me felt that it was not. It did not make sense for me to invest in traveling. Um, Now I know different. Now I know that I actually could have been able to do all this in very different ways. Now, recently discovered from one of my friends that quite a number of airlines actually do offer you the option of paying in installments. So if you buy your ticket way in advance, you're able to buy the ticket and pay for it in installments, and that way it reduces how much money you eventually have to spend, because when you buy the ticket and you bought the ticket and then you still also have to pay for the hotel and all that all at the same time, it's quite a burden on you. The second thing is I started using booking.com to book hotels. Now, on booking.com, you have the option of booking hotels which you can reserve and then pay at the last minute. So you can book them very early when the prices are still very low, and then you pay for it closer to your trip, or even just before, whatever. If something changes, you can cancel it or like that. Those are good options. They're actually great options, especially now, because I'm not convinced that well, we are living at a time when it's one day at a time. I know many governments have promised that there will be no shutdown or anything like that, but nobody ever thought that the shutdown that happened in 2020 was ever going to happen. So basically, I know people still feel like, why would I put $1,000 on $1,000 on something that I'm not very sure I'm going to use? So I always advocate for, when you're buying your ticket, just get that extra travel insurance. Most of the time, it's like $15, $20. Now, $15 to save you having to lose $1,000 on a ticket that you bought, to me, makes sense. I just think some of these things we are trying to economize are not really worth economizing. So, well, anyway. Other than that, I feel like most of the time we are just, we're just uh, worried about many things. Now, there are so many options of traveling cheap nowadays. We have make friends, make friends who can tell you cheap hotels. There are always cheap hotels that you cannot find online, who probably don't even have a website. There are those mom and pops. Most of them are quite expensive, actually. But then there are some of these like really tiny places that you can make that you can find now with Facebook and Twitter and all that. You can actually just put up an ad and say, listen, I'm traveling to Portugal and I will be in this place for this long. I was wondering if anybody knows the area and can recommend something cheap or economical for me to spend my time on. And it's, I feel like that can already make you feel better because one, you're going there and you're going to meet somebody that you maybe chatted with online and enjoyed having a conversation with. So it's great. On the other hand, I feel like it can also add you that the added advantage of getting something which is reasonably priced, which probably is something that the locals like and it's not really out there for everybody else. And finally, I think that it's just a nice, lovely way to travel. The other way I've discovered is just basically looking out for discounts. Don't have a plan. Really, really don't have a plan. Just say that, listen, I want to travel. Then go on, like many different travel sites and look for discounts of where to go. And then find out about the place and then go there. Instead of deciding where you want to go. And most of the time, where you want to go is influenced by what's on fashion, like everybody's going to Barcelona, so I'm going to Barcelona. Everybody's going to Paris, so I'm going to Paris, like that. Then you can find tiny little gems that nobody else is thinking about going to, and you go there. So those are little things that can also save you money. You start from finding the place that you can afford and then work backwards. So you find the place you can afford, learn about it, and then go. I think if okay, if you just want to travel for traveling, like I do, I don't want to travel for specific reasons. There are people who want to want to do hiking trails. They have specific goals that they want to see. I just want to tick the box. Been to this country, been to this country, been to this country, just like that. That I think is an easier way to accommodate other than the opposite. Now, if you have like hobbies that you want to learn how other people do these hobbies or how these hobbies are practiced in other places, like for example, you do yoga and you would like to go to India or to Thailand to do some yoga retreat and things like that. These things are advertised sometimes a year in advance. Just make it something that you just go for the fact that you can book these things way in advance. They're always early bird tickets. You try that and you just enjoy it. If it's something that it's always going to be there and you are in a position that you can travel off season. So, for example, people who don't have kids, plan your vacation at a time when schools are in session, not during school holidays. For the simple reason that, one, when schools are on holiday, everything is more expensive. And secondly, everywhere is more crowded. I went for what is it called? A meeting for where I live. There's a committee for the tenants association, and I went for the meeting. And one of the so most of the people there were like, well, we can't do it in September because I'm traveling in September. And then the other half of the group were like, no, we cannot do it in July and August because we're traveling in July and August. And I was like, why are people traveling in September? Because in my mind, people travel in July and August because I'm a parent. That is when schools are closed. So July and August is when you go on holidays. Then I realized, oh, these are retired people. They don't want to go on vacation the same time their grandchildren are going on vacation. They want peace. You don't want to go to the beach and the beach is crowded with kids running around and messing up your time. I love my kids, but I love my kids. When my kids are grown, I don't really want to spend my holidays with all the noise of all the other kids. So that can be a great thing to do. And many retired people actually do that. They travel during the off season. Now, even if you're not retired and you're able to travel during the off season, it will save you so much more money. You will get better deals because more hotels are empty, more airlines. They probably have more rates on economy because everybody who's flying during that time are flying business for business reasons and stuff like that. So I'm just hoping that these few tips have been things that you can follow. And you know what? I'm going to try and apply some of my tips to myself and enjoy myself during this summer. Bye bye.